Okay, everybody, it's still Monday, October 7th, 2019. This is my post-market wrap-up. It's going to be a good one. Before I even get there, let's start off here with the basics. I mean, we had an insanely volatile day in this market. Triple digits to the good, triple digits to the negative. We finished in the negative across the board. Nothing major. Nothing major. Cryptocurrencies are beginning to catch a nice bid here. This should not surprise you. I've been explaining to you for a while that this dip would be short-lived. It's proving to be true. And if it drops again, I still think it's a buy, a screaming buy. But you can have your own opinion as well. Keep this in mind. This is all I do. I study these markets and every aspect of it. So if you don't study it as hard as I do, I'd be willing to bet that you're probably wrong. With regard to precious metals, they took a hit today as well. The dollar about flat, but I want to talk more about the dollar here because there is chatter. There is chatter out here. Now, most of you know, I talk to everybody. I admittedly have friends at the major Wall Street banks, and we converse. Here's the chatter, just so you know. It appears that the general consensus here is we can expect what we've been hearing about for quite a long time, right out of the mouth of the President of the United States. Take the man at his word. The President of the United States has been explaining the dollar is too strong. Dollar intervention is needed by the Federal Reserve. What he is saying is dollar devaluation. Okay? He can't say that. It has to be spun. Intervention, people don't know what that means. If you say devaluation, they go, wait, you trying to tell me you're going to take away my currency's purchasing power so things are going to cost me more than they do already? That's exactly what the chatter is. And I think it's more than chatter. Let me explain to you why. Number one, we've been hearing about it for how many months now? A year? Maybe? Maybe even longer than that. It doesn't stop. Now, the fact that we already have, I mean, you know, we all understand this. We have a Federal Reserve that has started to go nuclear. They're printing cash out of thin air. They're adding it to a digital screen. They are buying short-term debt, medium-term debt, long-term debt. They're pumping hundreds of billions into this market that's being added to the national debt on your back, on your children's back. I mean, you can go on and on about it. And not only that, you have to understand, there's also this scheme where world central banks are buying each other's debt, keeping it off balance sheet. I don't even think this is a secret anymore. It's kind of out there. But I do believe I was probably the first person to mention this like 2 years ago, right around when President Trump was elected. Anyway, so that's the situation. That's the chatter. I would be willing to bet, and I think that's why we're seeing cryptocurrencies rise here a little bit. See, here's the deal when it comes to cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies, it's a rigged market. How do we know it's rigged? Because Wall Street has their ugly hands on Bitcoin futures. It's not rigged to the same degree of precious metals, which is unbelievable. It's backwards. The hard asset derives value from the derivative. This is how they can rig it. It's unheard of. I mean, it's like saying, like, Boeing stock derives value from the derivative. No, the derivative derives value from the underlying asset. In this case, it would be Boeing stock. That's not the case with precious metals. And how many banks have gotten caught over and over again? JP Morgan, how many times alone has that institution been caught red-handed rigging it? They get a little fine, maybe a slap on the hand. No one even gets in trouble for it. But if you were out here rigging the market, front-running the market, doing whatever, you would be in handcuffs. But you can see there are the two big to fails because they run the show. JP Morgan, part of the military-industrial complex, absolutely part of the Federal Reserve. Who runs the Federal Reserve? I mean, we all know this. It's common knowledge, at least at this particular point. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, I mean, you can go down the line here. So the situation is pretty grave in my opinion. QE6 is in full swing. I've covered this to the point of nauseum, so we're not going to talk about it anymore. So, and this is just phase one. This is going to get a lot more dramatic. The inflating debt on your back is about to get much more dramatic. The recapitalization of the banks, because they're insolvent, like we heard from Fed President Bullard, is also in full swing. That's another thing we need to keep our eye on. So again, where do all these dollars come from? They're created magically out of thin air. I think this is part of, again, I mean, think about it. We have the Federal Reserve now, QE6. Where's the cash come from? They're created from thin air. The banks are going to be recapitalized to the tune of hundreds upon hundreds of billions of dollars. You're bailing out the banks again. I hope you're happy about that. And if you're not happy about that, maybe you want to tweet the president and ask him why. Why he's not saying anything about it. Why he's not even mentioning the fact that the Federal Reserve has begun QE6. Nope, don't hear about it. But you're going to hear about dollar intervention, president's word. Can't say devaluation. So this is what you need to do. If we understand what's going on, these are all extremely stock market positive, forcing you, if you're a member of the middle class, to be robbed blind because your interest earning accounts earning less than the actual rate of inflation. A massive series of rate cuts are coming. Dollar devaluation is a lock. That's the chatter. That's the chatter out here. It's not just from Greg Mannarino anymore, and it's everywhere. Everyone knows it's coming. So that means not only will you be being robbed blind via an interest-earning account, you're going to start having to reach deeper in your pocket to buy everything. The dollar that is going to be hit very hard, very soon, a series as well, will be extremely beneficial for the military-industrial complex. The corporations that are multinational, every company right now that is part of the military-industrial complex is a multinational. So all of these multinational corporations, they foam at the mouth and spray all over their shorts when they hear about dollar intervention. The weaker dollar is very good for these corporations because, again, it forces you as a member of the middle class to subsidize it. That's what you're doing. You're being used as a tool, a pawn, a fool, a joke, whatever you want to call it, by this administration, by the Federal Reserve right now. And if that hurts your feelings, tell me where I got it wrong. Okay? I dare you. Actually, I freaking dare you. Do you not see what's going on right before your eyeballs? Seriously? If that's the case, then there is no hope for you. There's no hope for you, and you are a sheep. And I promise you that me and my lions are going to gladly shear you beyond belief. It's the truth. I entered 3 trades today. I did not have a great day. I had a profit of about $343 and change. Oh well. But I guess it's better than a loss. And this morning when I explained to you, I actually didn't lose money in my trade this morning. I made money in that trade, but I cut the trade short so I can do my video blog. Had I stayed in that trade, I would have had a very good day. But again, these video blogs, in my view, are important. They take precedence. All of you take precedence over the market. I'll make money in this market anyway. As you can see, I did today. Nothing dramatic. Made cash nonetheless. That's okay. So that's really what's going on here, people. And I want you to start thinking about how all of this is going to affect you. If you're already struggling, because we already know that sadly, this is heartbreaking to me. American citizens are now borrowing from their credit cards in record amounts just to make ends meet. Now, when we get dollar intervention, the president's word, he's saying devaluation, when the currency starts to take a hit here to support the multinationals, to support the military-industrial complex, how is it going to affect you? Think about it. If your dollar loses X% of purchasing power and you have to start using more cash to make ends meet, are you going to have to borrow even more from your credit cards? Are you going to start to become more in debt? That's the plan here. Understand. to create debt sleeves on an unprecedented scale. Most people have a negative net worth in this country. It's an incredible situation, and I feel my heart goes out to everyone who has a negative net worth. I do not have a negative net worth. I have a very positive net worth. And let me explain this to you. It is an amazing, enlightening feeling to have a positive net worth. And again, it's very sad. If people zero out what they owe, they're in the negative. This is the plan here. Our country is in the negative, and it's going to get much deeper in the negative as this debt explosion extravaganza takes off, because the Fed and the president are working together to make sure this happens. They are supporting the military-industrial complex, which includes the banks, all the banks, the Wall Street banks, the Federal Reserve itself, the multinational corporations. And do you see how you are being forced to subsidize it? And you still think the president is doing a great job? I'm sure that there are some of you, because we need you out there. Even me. I'm going to be straight with you. I need some people on the opposite side of this so you can pay me and my alliance, because you will. You're doing it now, just in case you were wondering. Anyway, I'm giving it to you straight. You don't like to hear it? Well, that's just too bad. I am a trader. That's what I do. So you want to get on the opposite side of the trade of me? Congratulations. You will lose. I can pretty much guarantee that. With that said, people, I do love all of you. And I want those of you that I am talking about to come around as well. I don't need your money. I don't want it. But if you want to give it to me by being in the opposite side of this and supporting the military-industrial complex, not understanding how important it is to become your own central bank, bet against the debt, this is not sustainable, the environment we are in. If you do not get that by now, me, my friends, my lions are going to eat your lunch for you, and we're going to love it. It's the truth. We are going to love it. Like I said, we do need some of you out there, so you take that however you want. That's it. I'm out of here. We'll see you in the morning. That's all.